You're watching Your View.
Thank you for joining us. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Great friends, what is going on? It is a Wednesday afternoon here on Kaplan and Crew from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com, just 7 minutes from downtown San Diego. Great restaurant with Sammy's Restaurant and Bar now, and blackjack, poker tables, all these great card games and table games, and in a smoke-free environment. Again, just minutes from downtown San Diego. If you're going to play cards, if you're going to watch football on Saturday and Sunday and you want to be part of that Sammy's Restaurant and Bar brunch from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., 7 Mile Casino is the place to go. So if you're just getting with us, Browner today put Scottie Pippen on his hit list because Scottie Pippen is out promoting a book. And the best thing that Scottie Pippen can do to raise the profile of the book, right, is to have something controversial in the book. And given last year in the middle of the pandemic when there were no sports and the only sports content that we were all yapping about was Michael Jordan's 10-part documentary, Scottie Pippen is essentially following that documentary up with a book, a quote-unquote kind of tell-all book. And the best thing that he can do if he's going to try and sell the book is create controversy. And the controversy that he's creating is it's like Scottie Pippen, who most of us thought was Robin to Michael Jordan's Batman. Now we find out that Robin kind of hates Batman. So Browner, you're on the side of Michael Jordan. You don't like what Scottie Pippen's doing. Lay out your case, Browner. Let's hear what you got.
I wouldn't frame it as I'm on the side of Michael Jordan. I am a Scottie Pippen fan. I grew up more liking Scottie Pippen than Michael Jordan. Scottie Pippen is tainting it publicly by doing this. Not that the relationship with Michael Jordan, I don't care about that. That doesn't influence me or help me or hurt me in either way. That's Scottie's deal. Michael's deal is not mine. But the image that people had of Scottie Pippen was always on and up. Somewhat of a sympathetic figure, if you will, if you know about what the act of his ex-wife. So
wait, what? Because I'm not hip to what you're talking about. You say Scottie Pippen was considered a somewhat sympathetic figure because what?
The actions of his ex-wife.
The actions of his ex-wife. People were sympathetic to Scottie Pippen because of the actions of his ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see, I thought Scottie Pippen was considered a somewhat sympathetic figure because, in particular, the portrayal of Pippen in the Jordan documentary was that Pippen was literally Michael's right-hand man on the court, not off the court, because Scottie Pippen seemed to have like his own entourage and his own world off the court.
He was famous too.
He was. Michael Jordan would get done with games and he'd want to go play poker somewhere. Scottie Pippen would get done with games and he'd want to go to the clubs and he'd want to have an entourage and he'd want to have girls around and so on and so forth. But I thought that the reason people were sympathetic to Scottie Pippen was because throughout his career, for as many championships as he was a part of, and for as much as he was, the second option of the Chicago Bulls back then, he was never really paid the way he should have been paid. And it seemed like the Bulls just took advantage of him. And, when you're winning championships like that, where are you going? He got rich and famous, but he didn't get ultra, ultra crazy wealthy like Michael Jordan was getting. Right. I thought people were sympathetic to Scottie Pippen because he never really got the money that people thought he was deserving of. I didn't know anything about the ex-wife. What's the ex-wife story?
So people of your ilk have sympathy for Scottie Pippen for that reason as well. People who travel in the circles that I travel socially on the internet.
People of your ilk?
Huh?
People of your ilk? Because you got people of mine, you said.
Yeah.
People of yours, yeah.
People of my ilk,
mm-hmm.
Okay, our sympathetic bone for Scottie Pippen is because of the actions of one Larissa Pippen, who has been out. She dated Future, which almost literally at the end of their marriage. She then turned around and dated Malik Beasley. She's out here dating young NBA players, not at the time, not really divorced from Scottie. And this whole thing with Future just was really bad. Just really, really bad. So it had Scottie out here looking Will Smith bad.
Why does Will Smith look bad?
Will Smith. You're just dropping references. You're just gonna have to keep explaining.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Now, people of your ilk. may
Skip
know
the
that.
last one.
But people of my ilk don't know that now that you've defined mine versus yours.
Is it ilk or elk? Or
I thought it
what's
was ilk, but he said elk, and I thought elk was like a animal or something.
What's
Is
the
an elk?
difference? It's the
Well,
same thing.
I think an elk. I'm not positive, but like
Like an elk
isn't
lodge.
yeah, isn't an elk like a first cousin of a deer, like a bigger form of a
Yes.
deer?
like the Bucks, right?
I don't know. Like the Milwaukee Bucks is a buck and elk, or is an
I don't
elk a
know.
different animal?
It's
I
got to
know,
be.
but
It's
all
gotta
I
be
know
the
is
deer
that
family.
all I know is that Browner's using the word wrong.
Yeah, elk versus ilk.
Elk is an animal. Ilk is what Browner's trying to say.
Right. So Browner defined people from his elk,
Mm-hmm.
and then he defined people from my elk. And I just bought into Browner's elk thing, and I started saying elk instead of ilk.
Listen, man. How
What?
y'all think language got invented? Okay, a person like me started talking, and when he said it made sense, so then people started using that as the language, the vernacular. That's how language got invented. I don't know what y'all doing.
I don't know, man, but vernacular is very impressive considering you don't know the difference between elk and ilk.
Yeah, man. So I feel bad for Scotty, man, but he gotta stop this, man. He gotta cut this out, man. He
Yeah,
better than this.
but dude,
I don't
listen,
think he has to. I don't think he's better than this.
it's what you do
I
when
don't
you
think
try and
he's-
sell a book. When you're Lance Armstrong and you lie your entire life, no, I never doped, and then what you're like, well, I guess I better write a book and make an admission. So that's how I'm going to sell the book. When you're Pete Rose and you lie forever that you never bet on baseball, then all of a sudden you decide you want to sell a book. You tell everybody, I lied, I bet on baseball, now buy my book. I mean, this is what Scottie Pippen's doing. He's like, hey, you saw me in the Michael Jordan documentary. I look like a jerk, okay? All these years later, now I'm with Alex here. Now it's like I'm about to tell you my truth. Go ahead, Alex. You're on the Pippen side.
Yeah, like I don't care what he says because it's what he believes. And you know what, Browner? When you're talking about Larsa Pippen and has no regard for anybody else after what he's gone through in his personal life. So when he went out there and write this book about whoever, like who has he actually like lied about, do you think, so far? Honestly.
Lies? Well, that I don't know. That I don't know because
Right.
I don't know the details.
So
to that
maybe you
degree.
don't like the truths that he's saying, which is a big difference.
Well, it's not that. I mean, for you to go in an interview and say that, is it harder to play with the flu or is it hard to play with a herniated disc in your back? Like, oh,
Right.
you like that's jealousy. Like, he's
Also,
coming
like,
off as more
but it-
jealous than he is right.
What did Michael Jordan come off for 10 weeks in a row when we had nothing else to do every Sunday night?
Like a boss,
No.
like a
an
boss.
entitled prick.
You're the same person who loves Kobe Bryant. They're the exact same personality. What are you
And
doing?
I would have
here?
said the exact same thing about Kobe Bryant. I'm not going
Stop
to
it.
defend Kobe the person or Michael Jordan the person. I'm just telling you is you are a Michael Jordan fan. You're a Chicago Bulls fan.
I'm
you're-
also a Scottie
you're-
Pippen fan.
Let me finish. What I'm saying is this idea of what the Bulls were to you is getting shattered in front of you and you can't handle the truth.
Oh, now
Well, of course.
hold
See,
on. Let
I
that breathe.
knew
Let
as
that
a
breathe.
I knew as a Lakers fan that our dynasty was in shambles and they were winning in spite of their relationship. Mr. Chicago Bulls over here, you don't like this, like whatever you prop them up as, these gods that just like were this amazing friendship and duo. They actually hated each other.
Maybe Browner, maybe what you ought to
You're too
consider
close
is,
to the situation.
well, I think Alex has a real good point here. Anybody who loved the Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls dynasty, myself included, we all looked at that dynasty and thought, Michael's the top dog, right? Michael was the top guy, right?
Yeah,
obviously.
that's not a debate. That's not a debate.
Right, and Scotty was his really
Number
great
two.
partner, right? He was happy to be the number 2 guy,
Right.
right? But here's the reality is that he really never was happy to be the number 2 guy, Scottie Pippen. And when Michael left and it was Scotty's team and things didn't go his way, and then Michael came back and they started winning championships again. And by the way, if Michael Jordan never creates this documentary, chances are Scottie Pippen never writes this book.
Right.
And chances are we never really hear that
Okay.
Scottie Pippen was not as he wasn't as I'm trying to think of how I should phrase this. He wasn't as happy being Michael's boy and not being compensated like the championship caliber player that he was and the contributions he made to the Bulls, he's all these years later, and we're probably talking, what are we talking, 25 years later? All these years later, Scottie Pippen doesn't like the way he was portrayed by Michael Jordan, doesn't like the way he was not compensated by the Bulls, is probably pissed off because people from your elk, not ilk, elk, know the dirty secrets of his personal life. And so, he's kind of tired of being Michael's little biatch. And so he's decided to come out firing.
But don't say, because here's the thing about it, okay? Because now I'm gonna turn some pages in this book for y'all.
All right. Have you read it?
I know, I've read some excerpts. So he didn't write the book, okay? I ain't got to read the thing. We already
Most
know
people don't
most
write their
book.
books, dude. Most,
Listen,
most
Come
people
on,
don't
dog.
write their own books, man.
So for Scottie Pippen to say that Michael Jordan was selfish because he retired before training camp and didn't give the organization enough time to bring in more talent, for him to say Michael Jordan was selfish because of that, but then this is the same Scottie Pippen who literally didn't go into a physical game because the play wasn't drawn for him. Like what?
Right.
Okay, Scottie.
He was a selfish little crybaby
Right.
too.
Are
Right,
we
so-
not? Are we not? Isn't like the documentary and the book reaffirming what the documentary said about Scottie?
All I'm saying is this, man.
Aren't
All
these
I'm saying is
excerpts
this.
that you're reading reaffirming what Jordan said about Scottie in the documentary?
All I'm saying is this, okay?
But it's not
Scottie?
what it is.
Scottie, stop, bro.
No,
Stop.
don't stop.
It's okay. Somebody hurt you. Don't hurt other people, Scottie. It's okay, brother. It's okay. You rich, you famous, you can go into any restaurant in America and you probably ain't got to pay for your bill, brother.
Why not?
Just chill, my man.
He's
'cause
not
you
that
Scottie
rich.
Pippen.
Why?
Remember,
Why?
he's not that rich because the documentary told us how bitter he was that he's not that rich.
But
Right,
the
he never
Bulls
got
gave
the
listen,
money.
the Bulls gave him $20 million at the end of his career just to come sit on the bench and shake hands with people at the end of the game. Like he's okay. He's okay. That's
How do you
in the
know?
book too. That's in another excerpt I
And then
read.
Larsa,
So he-
how much did Larsa take of that 20 million?
And then give
well,
to Future.
Right.
the evil ones take half.
And by the way, this new clip that emerged late last night or whatever,
Yeah.
is it factual? Like isn't it more difficult to play with a herniated disc than to be a little dehydrated with the flu?
All right, let's
mean,
take a listen. This
on.
is Scottie Pippen was on with who?
Hate is insane.
Frank Iasola.
Uh-huh.
Frank
I don't know- I
Isola.
don't- Isola.
He's a New York reporter.
This is Sirius XM NBA radio.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you this:
All right.
is it easier to play with a herniated disc or to play with the flu?
They always say the worst injury to have is a bad back. So
Well, I don't see many bad back games, but I do see flu games. Flu, come on.
Come on. I got a flu right now.
I have a herniated disc.
They both
Bro,
get get out of here. Stop
didn't
it.
in the documentary, wasn't it pretty much established that it was a hangover game?
Right?
No,
it
dude,
wasn't
he was
really.
food
It really
po-
wasn't
food
as sick.
poison. With
Mm.
food
Oh yeah, that's
poison.
what they try to say. That the Utah hotel staff
It wasn't
poisoned
the
him.
hotel staff. Michael Jordan ordered a pizza because he was up at 2:00 in the morning. It's hard to get food. He called the pizza place. They said the pizza was for Michael Jordan, so they poisoned the pizza because they didn't want him to play well. And guess what? Game 6 flu game. All right, so get out of here with that. Scottie, you played with a hurt back. You played with a herniated disc. You was trash that game. I remember because you was barely limping. So go on with that, bruh. Y'all gonna make me mad.
You know, Scottie should really just start going after Michael Jordan and how terrible of a owner he is.
That's a different conversation. I'll be
I know
on
it is.
board with him. Michael
But it's
Jordan, I
pretty
think that's
clear.
the owner.
But it is pretty clear that Scottie Pippen. I can't believe we're having this conversation, and it's kind of fun because everybody who's watching and everybody who's listening, we all grew up in that era,
Right.
and we all love Michael Jordan, which is pretty amazing. I
do.
love Michael Jordan. Okay, and yet there was a part of me back then, in particular, that really hated the fact that Michael Jordan wasn't a spokesperson for the community, whereas LeBron James gets a lot of crap from people because he's very outspoken and he is what I'll call voice of a community. Now you're laughing at me, Browner, because I guess people of my elk don't necessarily understand what people of your elk do understand. So where have I made a mistake here?
I'm glad. I'm glad you phrased it that way because I gotta tell you, man. When I was growing up and all that was happening, we never talked about it. It was never a thing. Now, maybe outside of Chicago, it was a thing, but in Chicago, in the city of Chicago, on the south side of Chicago, where I grew up playing basketball, and I grew up cheering for the Bulls, and everyone I knew grew up cheering for the Bulls. Michael Jordan's political opinions never ever materialized into a conversation that I had on the side of a basketball court.
No, but
So
I don't mean his political opinions.
What
I
was the
just mean
quote?
that I just
Was
mean
it
that
white people buy Nikes
Republicans
too,
buy
or
shoes
Republicans,
too.
yeah,
White
Republicans.
people do buy shoes. They buy
Michael
more shoes.
Michael Jordan understood from the beginning that his name and his brand and his
Likeness.
affiliation with Nike, et cetera, that it was the prudent business move
Ooh,
to
true.
To not say anything.
to not be controversial. It was a
Yeah.
prudent business move for Michael Jordan to not be controversial.
I.e.
Whereas,
Tom
followed
Brady.
that playbook.
Tom Brady's following it as we speak.
but
Yes.
LeBron James doesn't follow it. And so LeBron
Right.
James is hailed a hero by some in the community, and he is a villain to the other side of, that community who thinks that he should shut up and dribble. And that's kind but you see Michael Jordan never really
But I think
had
LeBron also proved Michael Jordan wrong. With LeBron has totally leaned into one side and now dominates that side of consumerism. So he doesn't care about this side because he's like, I'm making so much money over here, leaning into the topics over here that I care about and all this other stuff that I don't really care if I offend you guys. I'm still a billionaire over here. And I think Michael was concerned that if I piss off this side, like I'm not going to make as much money as I can in total.
I guess
Where I
what
think
we're really
LeBron
trying to
proved him
say,
wrong.
let's just really break this down, Browner, because you and I oftentimes will just get
I wish
wrong.
people on radio could see Browner's face because
I
he
know.
just thinks I just said like the dumbest thing of all
Well,
time.
well, here's what you said without saying it. And Browner, tell me if you think I'm right or wrong here, because you and I had this conversation the other day. Black America believes Odell Beckham is still a superstar, and Black
Yes.
America thinks that Baker Mayfield's a terrible quarterback. White America thinks Odell Beckham is a prima donna little douche, okay, and thinks that the Cleveland Browns did themselves a favor by getting rid of that locker room cancer. There is a black-white thing going on with the Odell Beckham conversation. Let's go back to Jordan here for a second. Michael Jordan was conscious of appealing to white America, whereas LeBron James is more interested in appealing to black America. Is that a fair statement in your opinion?
Yes, that's very fair. Yes.
Well, that's the difference between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Now, yet here I am. I love Michael Jordan. Love him. Scottie Pippen can say anything he wants to. He can tell me what a jerk he was. He can whine and complain about how he wasn't properly paid, et cetera, et cetera. Michael Jordan be a terrible executive in the NBA. He may have been a big jerk. He may have been a gambler, a womanizer. Hell, for all I know, his gambling problems may have gotten his father murdered. But all of these misgivings around
Allegedly.
Michael Jordan's career, I
Allegedly,
still
yeah.
love the guy. I still love him.
Me too. And by the way, I still love Scottie Pippen. Like I don't like.
Sounds like you don't. Sounds like you're
Yeah.
breaking up with him.
Hater.
No, man. I'm trying to protect him. You protect the ones you love.
That's
Scotty
very
also
sweet.
had I mean, listen, I'm not going to compare shoes because Jordan wins, but Scotty also had some of the dopest Nikes of all time with the ones that said
That's
air
true.
on the side, dude. Woo!
Yes.
Like the
Yes.
fact that he didn't become a billionaire off that one shoe, I'd be
They
pissed
didn't
too.
logo it.
Well,
They
way to
didn't give
go,
him the
Browner.
logo.
You've gotten us into a whole conversation that we certainly didn't anticipate today. Great job by you, as always. Hey, listen, let me have a minute here to just talk to everybody about I Thrive MD. I hope yesterday, if you were watching the TV show after the San Diego State basketball game, you stuck around and hung out and listened to Dr. Samir Damani. He was really interesting yesterday because we talked about, Doc, we're always mentioning testosterone. And he went through a whole thing. He's like, look, if your testosterone is low, there are a whole other list of problems for your health that come along with it. But if your testosterone levels are right, but yet you're still experiencing depression or lack of muscle or fatigue or erectile dysfunction, it may not be your testosterone. It could be a bunch of other stuff that they can help you with at iThrive MD. The other thing we talked about was we rarely mention how many different services they have for women. He was talking about aesthetic services like Botox and things like this. And I was mentioning yesterday that I got an email from one of our listeners who's now an iThrive MD patient. And he was saying that his wife gets 15% discounts on services there because he's a patient at iThrive MD. So here's the bottom line. If you're feeling tired, if you're not getting the job done in the If you're experiencing kind of depression, fatigue, erectile dysfunction, it could be low testosterone. Come get your T tested for free at iThriveMD. And then if you are low in testosterone and you start a series of testosterone treatments, it's usually $289 a month. Dr. Damani has very generously reduced it by 50%, taking it down to $145 a month. That should get you to want to try this. And in 3 months, you're either going to say, this is the greatest thing that ever happened to me and I'll pay full price, or I don't really feel it, so I'm not using it. So do me a favor and do you a favor. Just go check it out. Get your testosterone levels checked for free at iThriveMD. Call and make an appointment right now, 858-240-1497, 858-240-1497. And you're going to get your first 3 months of testosterone treatments at 50% savings at iThriveMD. All right, stick around. We got a great show coming up today. Hammer and Hank Bauer will be here to talk some NFL, so hang out for that. And we got a ton of stuff we want to get to. We are rolling. It is Wednesday. We are in the 7 Mile Casino studios, 7milecasino.com, along with Grande and the Brown Man. This is Kaplan and Crew on a Wednesday.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
And they're on. Welcome back. Please join us in welcoming the Race and Sports Radio Show back home to 1090. Join host Felix Taverna every Saturday at 9 a.m. for the very best horse racing coverage in all of Southern California. The all-new and mightier 1090.
SDCCU is an engaged community partner. Each year, SDCCU is proud to support many nonprofit organizations throughout Southern California. Our partnerships allow us to help shape the financial lives of many through volunteerism, financial support, and creating public awareness. The result is a big impact on the communities we serve. SDCCU, it's not big bank banking, it's better. Federally insured by NCUA. Find out more at sdccu.com.
Round 2 of the 2021 USL Championship Playoffs, live on Your View. The Western Conference Semifinals. Watch Orange County SC host the Oakland Roots SC Saturday, November 13th at 7. This second round game will be live at Championship Soccer Stadium. Come join the fun. Limited tickets are available. Orange County SC versus the Oakland Roots SC Saturday at 7 on Your View.
Great googly moogly. Oh, yeah.
Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
Up to 30% of COVID-19 patients become long haulers with persistent symptoms months after the infection.
What I've been finding with my patients is that it's taking up to 3 to 6 months for them to recover their endurance, exercise capacity, and get them back to work or to their usual activities of daily living.
What I wasn't able to do was the basic needs, like brush your teeth, take a shower, because of the shortness of breath, the tightness in my chest.
The symptoms that concern me the most, the shortness of breath. So restrictive. You know, you go through and you just take for granted that, you know, you're gonna breathe. And when that gets taken away, it's a scary thought. Unfortunately, I'm 6 months out now from my diagnosis and I'm still suffering from several of the symptoms.
My experience with the patients I've sent to La Mesa Rehab has been extremely positive. The patients come back with good reports, and when I see them in the office, their exercise capacity has improved dramatically.
I'm getting there because of La Mesa Rehab.
Teatro means theater in Spanish, and in Portuguese, and in Tagalog, and in Italian, and in so many languages. We have a lot of communities, a lot of culture here, so that is the reason why teatro is in the name. The mission of Teatro San Diego is to provide arts education to underserved communities, specifically in schools. Our goal is also in tandem with arts education to provide a professional theater company and dance company so that the community can see themselves reflected on stage at the professional level. Places like Subaru have really been so supportive and have helped us come up with projects like the AMI project.
I was so honored to be at an event a few days ago and heard some of the songs from it. These guys rock. This is just an amazing thing that everyone needs to see.
Southern California Radio is a special game, a unique game from the sandy beaches of the Baja and all the way to Santa Barbara. My voice sounds pretty cool. The all-new and mightier 1090.
My name is John Alicio, and I'm managing partner of Procopio. Procopio is the largest San Diego-based law firm, and we're proud to be a part of this event, the Salute to Teachers. Without the teachers, none of us would have had the success we've had. You know, our firm consists of about 200 professionals and 200 attorneys, so a total of 400 mostly San Diego educated professionals. Without you, we'd not be winning the cases we win as we go toe-to-toe with the best attorneys in the world. So thank you on behalf of Procopio for what you do and how you do it. And a special personal thanks to my alma mater, Valhalla High School, and the teachers at that school. Without you, I would not have had the personal success I have had. So from Procopio, thank you for what you do and how you do it. Salute.
Congratulations to the San Diego County Teachers of the Year, Laura Reyes, Heather McLean, Jacqueline Jourdain, Zy Sanders, and Tiffany Jokerst.
This year has provided a mountain of challenges, but every mountaintop is within reach if you just keep climbing.
Cox Presents Salute to Teachers is proudly sponsored by these charitable companies.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Orange County Soccer Club got the win against the Colorado Springs Switchbacks 1-0 in the USL Championship quarterfinals to advance. OCSC was down a man for 60-plus minutes, but despite that, Orange County was able to apply the pressure to the Switchbacks. Ronaldo Damu scored right before the half, and that would be all that OCSC would need. Orange County will take on the Oakland Roots SC on Saturday in the Western Conference semifinal. In other OCSC news this week, Richard Chaplow was named as the club's permanent head coach. Chaplow had been in the interim role since mid-August and had led the team to an 8-3-2 record that boosted OCSC to a 15-10-7 overall record and a second-place finish in the Pacific Division. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew Tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Still on his feet, Jared Williams. Swift is in the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcat. He's at the 40. Is he going to go? Holds it in. What a catch. Big return left sideline. Off to the races. He flips the defenders into the end zone. He's got a man. Wildcat. That was pretty.
Game Time High School Football on Your View is brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
Round 2 of the 2021 USL Championship Playoffs, live on Your View, the Western Conference Semifinals. Watch Orange County SC host the Oakland Roots SC Saturday, November 13th at 7. This second round game will be live at Championship Soccer Stadium. Come join the fun. Limited tickets are available. Orange County SC versus the Oakland Roots SC, Saturday at 7 on Your View. We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon And by Prospect Home Finance.
Great friends, it is a Wednesday afternoon here on Kaplan and Crew along with Grande and the Brown Man. And as we do on Wednesdays, we spend some time with Hammer and Hank Bauer, the former great Charger player, coach, broadcaster, who now does national radio broadcasts of NFL football games. He was in San Francisco last weekend to see the Arizona Cardinals, who have the best record in the NFL, beat up on San Francisco while Arizona was using their backup quarterback. We'll get to that story coming up. We are in the 7 Mile Casino studios, and Hammer and Hank is standing by, and this segment of the show is being brought to us by Corky's Pest Control. Hank, how you doing this afternoon?
Are you kidding me? There should be two of me. Nobody should be this blessed, Scott. Living in this amazing city. At 46 years in the NFL, I just can't. Life goes so fast. It's a blink of an eye, right?
Well, let me ask you something. How old are you now?
I'm 67.
Do you feel any different today at 67 than you did when you were, say, 50? Meaning, like, I'm 50, and even though I'm 50 years old, I still kind of have this like 18-year-old, 25-year-old sort of feeling of like immortality. And I don't mean to sound like arrogant about it, because I know that at any moment I could go to my doctor and he could say something's wrong. You know what I mean? And Hank, true story. In the last 2 weeks, I've had a friend, this one young lady who I used to ride bikes with. She was an amazing cyclist. She had a really accomplished gymnastics career. She was a professional woman. She was she was 49 or 50 years old. She died from leukemia, you know? And then I had a high school buddy of mine, a kid I've known since I was like 12 years old. I haven't seen him in 30 years, but like just from out of nowhere, guy just died in his sleep, 51 years old. And so we're getting to this age now where people die, you know, or people get really sick. And yet here I am. Thank God I'm generally a healthy person. I got a couple of things going on, but generally a healthy person. And I feel like I don't even contemplate mortality. And you're 67. How do you feel about that?
I think about it. I'm not dumb. I know that it's coming. None of us know when or where or how. You know, Junior Sal, God rest his soul, he used to always say, you know, today's a gift, tomorrow's not promised. And then he takes his own life, sadly. But, you know, going to 3 funerals from former teammates in the offseason, this last offseason, it slaps you, no question. Doug Wilkerson, Charles DeJournay, Russ Washington, all leftists. It's a constant reminder. But you know what? You live your life, do your best, enjoy today, plan for tomorrow in case you make it to tomorrow. You know, you can't just live for today and just leave it all out here today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just can't do that. You can't live that way. You can't spend that way. But you got to live your life. You just got to live your life. I can't believe 46 years in the NFL, 67 years old. I'm every day is a celebration for me, Scott. It's not, I don't worry about the future. I don't really revel in the past. And you know, I just celebrate today. Today's today, and I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to do whatever makes me happy. And hope I'm going to wake up tomorrow and do the same.
All right. Well, good advice. Good advice right there from Hank Bauer. Hammer, before we talk football, me, Browner, and Grande probably need to run something by you and see where you're at in life on this one. So, Brown, you want to present to Hank what we got going on here in early December?
December the 11th, we are throwing a cruise for the great friends, and we are inviting all people who take part in helping the show and in viewing the show, sponsors included, on a cruise on the December the 11th from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. on the Yacht America. Would you like to join us?
I'm going to have to check. What day of the week is it?
That's a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I got to make sure I'm not traveling.
Okay.
Because I travel on Saturdays to do games on Sundays.
Gotcha.
So if I'm here, I'd love to do it.
All right, there we go.
And I don't find out my schedule till about 3 weeks out. This week I'm off, for instance, but I know next week I'm doing the Bengals at the Raiders, and then the following week I'm doing the Vikings at the 49ers. So, and then that's all I know.
All right. Well, Hank, you're invited. It's December 11th. It is the Yacht America. Next Level Sailing. We decided on a Saturday this year rather than a weekday so that we could not have to broadcast and we could do a bunch of social media and people wouldn't have to worry about their work schedules. And we'd love to have you. We really would. I know Linda's already coming. Billy Ray says he's in. Bert Grossman.
I was just going to ask you, is our girl Linda Welby coming?
Yeah, and Bert Grossman says he's in. But Browner here has put down his executive decision-making powers and has said Bert Grossman is not invited on the Yacht America.
And the reason is?
Well, Hank, we have here a small group of people doing a lot of lifting in a lot of different ways. People are free to go their own way when they no longer want to be a part of the lifting, if you know what I mean. For you to then do that is your own accord, but be professional about it. Be cool enough to tell the actual people, hey, I'm not coming back. As opposed to just not coming back, showing up on another show, doing the exact same thing you were doing on this show, like nothing ever happened. So,
okay, I got you.
That's
Browner's really still pissed at Bert. Yeah,
loyalty is critical in every walk of life.
How about just respect? A little bit of it.
Respect, loyalty, honesty.
Or common courtesy.
Common courtesy, all those things. That we don't see a lot of it these days. But it is what. Hey, get on an airplane. Go. Have you guys flown recently?
I have flown recently. Yeah.
In July. Yeah.
Every flight's delayed. I mean, Sunday nights are a nightmare for me. Coming back from games, coming back from Vegas, tons of Raider fans. Coming back from San Francisco, tons of 49er fans. There were once Charger fans that are now Raiders fans or 49er fans or whatever place I'm coming from. They seem to all be wearing the jerseys and they're all saying, yeah, and they always look at me and they go, by the way, we still love the Chargers. But we had to take on another team. Flying sucks. Flights are delayed. Airports are crowded again. Isn't it great?
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, honestly.
Hank Bauer
I'm
is
flying
here
for Thanksgiving.
Oh, what's wrong with you?
I know. What's wrong with me? I don't want to drive to Texas, so I'd rather just wait in an airport instead.
Oh, yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
Are you nuts?
No, he would do it though. This kid, he
Did it once.
Done it before.
Never wanted to do it again.
Here's how bad it was. I looked at a train trip to go to the Bay Area to do the next 49er game.
How many hours is that? 12?
No, way more.
Yeah, it was like a 14, 17-hour drive.
Oh my God.
Right. And I said, I'm not going to do it unless I can get in the luxury, have my own sleeping car and all that stuff. Right? And they said, well, it's going to cost way more than a flight. So
John Madden, you should get a Hank Bauer tour bus.
Right. The Bauer bus.
Yeah. How about that?
Not a bad idea. Well, listen, Hank Bauer is here, being presented by Corky's Pest Control, 1-800-901-1102. Hank, I was telling the guys here, I'm still in my house doing the broadcast, but I had this massive flood in my house. And so the floors are all destroyed. And there's people here literally working right now. And so as a result, I've had to move out of the house, but this room has been not affected, thankfully, yet. And at this condo that I'm renting right now, there's ants all over the bathroom. And my daughters are complaining. They're like, Dad, there's ants all over the bathroom. I'm like, yeah, because those ants want water. And they're like, well, where's Corky when we need him? I'm like, well, this is a temporary spot for us, So like, I don't know, get some ant traps or some Raid or something. But that's the beauty of Corky. I tried to explain to my daughters last time, like when Corky comes to our house, he goes on the outside and he sprays everything on the outside so bugs never get into the inside. And now we're having this rental place and my daughters are all pissed off at me.
And I live on top of the hillside, right? Looking out. And so I got all kinds of critters trying to get up. They get up to the hillside, to the edge. Nah.
Yeah.
Then they seem like they're all their dead buddies on the edge of the hillside. They go, yeah, I think I'll go back down.
Yeah. Corky's
I got a big old grasshopper. Yesterday I walked over. I almost stepped on this grasshopper. It was taking his last breath. I felt kind of bad. I went, nah.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Hank Bauer is here. Hank, let me jump around the NFL for the last 10 minutes of this visit because the first 10 minutes are pleasantries and we love to see and you look great. And I love that Callaway hat that you're rocking and you're looking very Veterans Day with your, military celebration NFL gear and your Callaway camo hat. You're looking great. You're looking money. Let me ask you this. When you look at the AFC.
Yep.
In the AFC North, everybody has a winning record. In the AFC West, everybody has a winning record. In fact, Of the teams in the AFC, 12 of 16 have winning records. And with what happened this past weekend, Denver beating up on Dallas, Cleveland crushing Cincinnati, the Chargers squeaking by the Eagles, Kansas City just barely getting by a Packers team that didn't have Aaron Rodgers. Hank, I don't know who's good and who's not good, but I think, at least right now, going into week 10, I think Tennessee is the best team in the AFC. So I'll throw it to you. Analyze the AFC side of things.
Okay, so first of all, more than any other year of all my 46 years, there's more parity this year than I've ever seen. This is what they've wanted to create. This is why the draft is structured the way the draft is structured. Worst teams get the best picks, right? This is they get to claim on waivers first, right? And the league, they get the easiest of the schedules. They play the worst teams from the previous years. And so this whole thing is created, or it's made for parity. And they're achieving that exactly this year. You mentioned the Titans. They're the number 1 seed in the AFC right now, and they have a record of 7-2. And then the second seed, the Baltimore Ravens, who week in, week out, you don't know what to expect, right? I mean, they're very volatile. But then all the other teams all have 3 losses or 4 losses. And it's just like, it's a crapshoot. Scott, it's a crapshoot. That's what makes the league great. When we saw what happened last week with Denver crushing the Cowboys in Dallas and, Arizona, the game I did, I was really interested to see Arizona, because they were the hot team. Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, then they go out and get Zach Ertz, and then they got 2 great running backs, and they've added all these guys in the draft. And I'll tell you what's underrated for the Arizona Cardinals is their defense is crazy good, and it's deep. They go about 3 deep at every position. Guys
lost J.J. Watt, and they're still this good.
He was gone. So James Conner was out. We do this game. James Conner's out. DeAndre Hopkins is out. It's Colt McCoy, right?
Didn't even know he was still playing.
I mean, James Conner was not. The starter was out.
Connor had a crazy game. Kyler Murray was out.
Didn't he have like 3 touchdowns or something like that? I mean, James Conner, was
he had
unstoppable.
like 178 yards.
Chase Edmonds got.
Yeah, and so Connor's was ridiculous in his first year coming over from Pittsburgh, but I was impressed. I didn't. And again, we got to be careful about, okay, how good was Arizona? Now, even without all those guys, the system was great. They're well coached. They're solid, great kicking game, experienced kicker. I think 32 years of experience between their kicker and punter, right? So they've gone out, they've done all the right things to build this. Steve Keim's done a great job building this team. But you get to the playoffs, it's a 1-game thing. But I do know this: the Arizona Cardinals are for real.
Okay, all right, Browner, you want to jump in here? You ready to roll?
I'm always ready. Hank, we've gone back and forth about this. You shared your opinion. I shared my opinion. It is clear now Justin Fields playing was better for him than watching Andy Dalton. What would you say for yourself now, sir? Because Jordan Love watched for a year and a half, and he was terrible. Looked like he needs to play more. And you talk to me, Hank. I talk to me. Give me some of that wisdom.
I've already forgotten. You're asking me, what was this? Something I said like a week ago, a month ago, a year ago?
Hank, we both know you forgot.
I don't even know what I said.
Hank, we know you forgot more football than I will ever learn in a lifetime. But I'm not going to let you get away with saying that. Yeah, you did.
What'd I say?
You said that he needs to not play. You said he needs to sit and learn. Justin Fields, Bears starting quarterback.
Until you hold your team at the beginning of every season to put the best 11 out there on both sides of the ball, until you're pretty sure you're not going to be in the playoffs, or you're not going to make a run with the guys you're putting out there, right? But you got to give you owe the veterans, you owe everybody on that roster, all the coaches, all the front office people. You got to try to win every game to start the season. Then there comes a point, John, that you got to look forward. And for me, For instance, the 49ers. Do we think any of us that the 49ers are going to do anything this year?
Nope.
No.
There you go. So what should you do?
Play Trey Lance?
100%. This is a guy that played 1 year of college football, really started, and you could see the inexperience. He just reeks with inexperience. But you can also see the eye-popping talent. Now that they've been beset by injuries and they're pretty much out. They're far behind the two top teams in the West, right?
Yes.
Right. Arizona's 8-1. The Rams are 7-2.
You played him, John.
Right.
Does that make
Francisco's
sense?
3-5. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question then. Because again, you have a lifetime of experience in the game of football in many different facets. So you can answer this question. When there's a young quarterback who is the future of the franchise and you play him, quote unquote, before he's ready, doesn't that give the team, the veterans, more energy? Doesn't that give the organization a little more bounce in the hallways? Because we're looking at the future of this organization. We're looking at our prospect.
Yeah, you want to do that. And that's what preseason is for, to gauge where a quarterback's at. Look, here's the thing. The hardest position in all of professional sports to learn, to master, to mature in is playing quarterback in the NFL. It's the hardest thing to do.
That's true. That's very true.
It is. There's so much going on. I'm watching Trey Lance and I'm going, if the first thing, you got to get the personnel groups, you got to call the plays, right? You got to move the guys around before, and you got to learn the system, and it takes a while to do that. You're learning to speak Russian when you've spoken Spanish in college, okay? And you're asked to do it in a month and be fluent. Well, it just doesn't happen that way, okay? So once you get to where you can communicate, that's the first part. Then you start learning defensive fronts, and then you start looking at coverages. And then the only way that you can mature as a quarterback is just repetition, watching film, actually seeing it in practice. Because what you see on film is not always what you see in real time on the field. So then that's the next step. And then it goes to the game, where the game is even sped up twice as fast than practice. So then you have the unexpected by the defense. So let's put it to you this way. Right now, a guy like Trey Lance, he's trying to just get the plays in, call the plays, get the guys to move on time, get the ball snapped. He's thinking about his footwork, his technique, trying to read a coverage, right, once the ball snapped, and trying to figure out if he has to check out of a play. All those things are just elementary things. A guy like Aaron Rodgers, you know what he's doing? He's got the play in. He already knows where he's going with the ball. He gets over the ball. He looks, they move. He sees the adjustment. He goes, I already know where I'm going with the ball on my read. I don't have to wait till I drop back and see what everybody does. I've already seen the matchup, their adjustments, and all he's doing on his third step is confirming. By the time he's on his third step, he's already knows where he's going with the ball. That's the maturation process. Was that too confusing? You guys?
No, I just think Hank Bauer is here, presented by Corky's Pest Control. I think what Browner is trying to get at is that Justin Fields will be further along quicker because of his playing.
Well, you got to play.
Whereas Jordan Love has sat around and watched Aaron Rodgers for a year and a half, and in his first start, he looked like a guy getting his first start. So had he played earlier, he would have been more prepared for that game in Kansas City. I think, Browner, is that what you're trying to get at?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Every guy's different, though. That's the thing. That's the crapshoot of drafting quarterbacks, which is the most important position, and it's the hardest position. Yeah. Mentally, there's so much to do and learn, and to see, and everything is so fast. It's just so hard to project. I mean, that's. And if a guy's, the only way is if you get hands-on, you get him into a system, you're working with him, and then he plays in a game. I saw Trey Lance a month and a half ago when he had to play for Jimmy Garoppolo, and he made some eye-popping plays, but he made some mistakes. I'm going, well, that's it's
just a rookie quarterback is. This guy who has very little experience in college, right?
You can't. One size does not fit all when it comes to when you should play these young guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, listen, the Bears went out and got Andy Dalton thinking that they would, wait on Justin Fields, and Andy Dalton got hurt and Justin Fields stepped in, and the kid's improving every week. Hank, unfortunately, Alex, can you believe this? Like we're like already out of time. Alex, did you have anything that you could give to Hank in 30 seconds or no?
I had on quarterbacks and how they see defenses and all that stuff.
No, that's fine. That's
Nobody
all right.
gives a leaky crap about. So
Right. Well, no, believe me.
Broke that down pretty well.
No, I think you did a really good job. Grande's been sitting in the background, just kind of chilling, hanging out, because he knows what happens.
I was just laughing at Browner.
All right, because all he wants to talk about is Justin Fields.
No, I mean, he's acting like Justin Fields had this incredible game, and him and Jordan Love, they have the same stats. They have the same stats. They have the same stats.
You're such a hater, bro.
Did they not have the same stats?
hater?
They both lost.
How about Kyler Murray?
All right, hold on, Hank. We got to go. We're up against the break. Enjoy your weekend off. It is great to be with you. You're celebrating Veterans Day like a true pro that you are. Hammer and Hank Bauer, presented by Corky's Pest Control. Check your schedule. December 11th, Yacht America, Next Level Sailing, Great Friends Cruise. Hammer, it is great to be with you always. Have a great day. Everybody stay right where you are. We're coming back. We got a lot more we want to get to, including the story of how the Padres got their new manager. The details are out. We'll get there next. Stick around. This is Kaplan and Crew.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Our massive signal covers an area where over 24 million people reside. So if you're listening or advertising on another station, we have only one question. Why? The new generation of radio, the all-new and mightier 1090.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community.
Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on Your View or stream it online at yourview.com. Sponsored by The Barnes Firm, partnering with Shelter to Soldier and saving lives 2 at a time. Visit thebarnesfirm.com/shelter to soldier and help save more lives.
Still on his feet, Jared Williams. Swift is in the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcat. He's in the 40. Is he going to go? Holds it in. What a catch. Return left sideline. Off to the races. He flipped the defenders into the end zone. He's got a man. Pass it out. Wildcat. That was pretty.
Game Time High School Football on Your View is brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
Congratulations to the San Diego County Teachers of the Year, Laura Reyes, Heather McLean, Jacqueline Jourdain, Zy Sanders, and Tiffany Jokerst.
This year has provided a mountain of challenges, but every mountaintop is within reach if you just keep climbing.
Cox Presents Salute to Teachers is proudly sponsored by these charitable companies.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Orange County Soccer Club got the win against the Colorado Springs Switchbacks 1-0 in the USL Championship quarterfinals to advance. OCSC was down a man for 60-plus minutes, but despite that, Orange County was able to apply the pressure to the Switchbacks. Ronaldo Damu scored right before the half, and that would be all that OCSC would need. Orange County will take on the Oakland Roots SC on Saturday in the Western Conference semifinal. In other OCSC news this week, Richard Chaplow was named as the club's permanent head coach. Chaplow had been in the interim role since mid-August and had led the team to an 8-3-2 record that boosted OCSC to a 15-10-7 overall record and a second-place finish in the Pacific Division. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Catch an all-new local show on the mightier 1090. Please join us every Thursday at 6 p.m. for the Charity Stripe, where you can get 3 out-of-the-box sports minds whose game is knowing yours. Only on a new generation of radio, the mightier 1090 AM, SoCal Sports Talk.
From fitness to medical technology, explore how people are leading healthier lives on Your Health. Join Erica Cardenas as she introduces you to health experts and discover how our daily choices affect our well-being. Plus, learn simple tips for healthier living. Your Health, Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on YourView and YourView.com. Brought to you by La Mesa Rehab, improving the lives of those afflicted by chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Learn more at lamesarehab.com.
Wilsey Asset Management is an investment advisory firm registered with the SEC. We're a firm that's a fiduciary firm, and we manage $500 million in assets for clients and businesses nationwide. We do better when our clients do better. You want to have a win-win situation. And I saw the same thing with charities. Some of the charities that we're involved in would include Cruise for Kids. Another organization that we really helped a lot was Children's Hospital. And there's also other organizations that we help as well in addition to those.
Kind of growing up and seeing how involved my dad was in the community, it really rubbed me, I'm going to say, in the right way. I did kind of take that one step further, I would say, and actually did start my own charity. It's called the Fighters Fight Foundation. What we do is we actually provide experiences to women that are battling stage 3 or stage 4 breast cancer. Our charity is not just about providing the experiences for women, it's also too on educating people. If you want to get involved in the foundation, you can go to our website, fightersfightfoundation.com.
At La Jolla Cosmetic, we try to help people achieve well-being, and we feel that it's not only important to look good, but also feel good inside. And honestly, what a better opportunity to help my community than being a supporter of an organization such as Las Patronas.
The mission of Las Patronas is to provide financial assistance to local nonprofits that are providing valuable community services in the areas of health, education, social services, and cultural arts. La Jolla Cosmetic has been one of our biggest supporters at Las Patronas, so we couldn't do what we do without their support.
You feel the need and you see the need because we go to visit each grant applicant.
Partnering with groups that are actually dedicated to help your community, it's the best thing that you can do as a responsible business.
Shelter to Soldier is 9 years young with a mission to save lives 2 at a time. We're adopting dogs from local shelters, training them for post 9/11 combat veterans, and we're able to donate these trained dogs to deserving veterans in need.
You know, I was in a very dark place. I was having suicidal thoughts, and I really needed an immediate help. We don't know if tomorrow is going to be there for us.
Shelter to Soldier is a nonprofit, and we're able to do the work that we do because of you, the community. Whether it's an individual donating $5 or whether it's a corporate donor like the Barnes firm that's supporting us and sponsoring multiple dogs that are going to make an impact in the veterans' lives in need.
Him by my side 24/7 has completely turned my life around. It's not just saving both of our lives, it has made an impact on myself, Nigel, my family, my work. So yes, they definitely have saved our lives.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and YourView, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Wilsey Asset Management is an investment advisory firm registered with the SEC. We're a firm that's a fiduciary firm, and we manage $500 million in assets for clients and businesses nationwide. We do better when our clients do better. You want to have a win-win situation. And I saw the same thing with charities. Some of the charities that we're involved in would include Cruise for Kids. Another organization that we really helped a lot was Children's Hospital. And there's also other organizations that we help as well in addition to those.
Kind of growing up and seeing how involved my dad was in the community, it really rubbed me, I'm going to say, in the right way. I did kind of take that one step further, I would say, and actually did start my own charity. It's called the Fighters Fight Foundation. What we do is we actually provide experiences to women that are battling stage 3 or stage 4 breast cancer. Our charity is not just about providing the experiences for women, it's also too on educating people. If you want to get involved in the foundation, you can go to our website, fightersfightfoundation.com.
Attention, all dogs, cats, horses, tortoises, birds, pigs, and all other pets. Get your family members to sit, stay, and watch Animal Zone every Saturday at 9 p.m. right here on this channel and at animalzone.org.
Tune in Saturdays at 9 p.m. to watch Animal Zone right here on YourView.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
On Sam the Cooking Guy.